After a long anticipated many hours, many days and months, we waited. This game finally started, and Pizza Time can take on overachievers, as I am joined with Nizcast as always to bring you guys analysis and insight into this game. And as an old decrepit man, I am excited as hell for this game to get underway, for us to watch some awesome Dodo. Hopefully the servers have calmed down, and as Dom the Dangerous is saying, we can battle in the Summoner's Rift, copyrighted by Riot Games, and win this game.
Well, I know Ursu got lost getting getting back in the game after he had to restart his client. Hopefully we aren't so lost that we ended up in League of Legends. We are still in Dota 2.
Some say that when you get banished by OD that you're sent to the Summoner's Rift, and that's why you lose intelligence. I love League of Legends too, though. I'm not trying to slide. It's just a funny joke, but we are into this game. I don't know too much about either of these teams' play styles. However, both of us have played against these teams. I believe I've played against the members of Pizza Time. Their names don't look too familiar, but definitely overachievers. Played with them throughout the last few months of the NA competitive scene. Definitely, I think OA has changed. Like they've always been a team, but the lineup has changed a little bit. It's always been like Symbol and Follow the Reaper, and then like different people, right?
I feel like they've changed rosters every time I've seen them.
Okay.
They've changed a lot. But yeah, I definitely I recognize a lot of players on overachievers. I recognize a few names on Pizza Time. I don't remember what teams they were associated with, but yeah, I do recognize a few names. Nothing really out of the ordinary so far in terms of picks and bans, though.
No, definitely not. Everything within the realm of the norm. We do also see Brewmaster being banned out, though, as that was not banned out until the very last hero, or second to last hero in the last game. But as Pizza Time is the fan favorites in this chat, shout out to all you guys. Definitely hyped to see what their push style can bring. However, Overachievers does have good tools to deal with what Pizza Time is bringing. Common heroes that we see, yes, but I definitely think they clash well. And because they clash decently evenly in a lot of ways, this game could go a lot of directions. Definitely go late. Could definitely end in the mid game. Venomancer getting banned out. Nature's Prophet immediately picked up by Follow the Reaper. So we will be seeing some more Rat Dodo in this game. If you guys don't love Rat Dodo, then you will after this game, as Prophet is extremely strong when you have heroes like Viper and Razor to push a lane and create pressure. Tidehunter definitely, we saw him last game wreck every team fight with those Ravages. Actually, I was surprised. Normally, you see one or two Ravages that don't hit 4 heroes, but in that game, Tidehunter was able to line up critical Ravages over and over again.
This tree pick, it's actually going to work really well with Razor and Viper. Those are 2 heroes that really just want to stand up and get in your face. And you add tree armor on top of that, and those heroes are never going to die, especially Viper. Oh, he's just going to become so tanky. But Nature's Prophet as well, so he'll offer kind of the split push. Be interesting to see what build he goes with. If he goes with the new style build in terms of getting the null talismans and stuff like that. I actually tried it in a pub and it worked alright for me the other day. So I'm kind of happy about that. But it won me a game, so I'll take it. But
plus
yeah,
25.
Nothing kind of away from the normal in terms of Pizza Time's lineup. They've picked 3 very common picks and very strong picks, obviously, if they're getting picked all the time. But Death Prophet, Shadow Shaman, Tidehunter, these are 3 heroes that actually love to push. Tidehunter's not the strongest in terms of ability to push a tower, but like last game I mentioned, the fact that he can use Ravage to pick off a hero or 2, and that allows you to then push a tower on the back of it when you have a hero advantage. So look for him. He can be run in the support role, but I do think he's going to be run in the off lane just for the purpose of getting that blink online quickly so they can push towers with the Death Prophet and the Rasta.
Well, and we've talked about it before too. One of the big weaknesses to push or like death ball style strategies is that if you have a lineup that can just hard engage when their pushing is 5 against a tower, you can wipe the push, and then what do? They die, they're not pushing. Undying. Oh boy, this game's gonna get fun. But to finish my thought, Tidehunter, when you have a push team, gives you the ability to deal with the hard engage that overachievers could bring with their lineup, because you can always counter initiate. And now you have the Tombstone to sit there and become a nuisance. And the nice thing for overachievers is that they have Razor, Viper, and Prophet, who are all good ranged heroes to help focus down that Tombstone. But I don't know, man. Undying, I love as a hero, and when he is played well, can absolutely dominate the mid game and early game.
Absolutely. Are you sure we have stream delay here? Because I feel like they heard me, and it's just the Twitch 15-second delay that they had to actually choose Undying to kind of throw me off guard with a weird pick. But yeah, Undying is just one of those heroes that.
Well, they want to push. They really want to push.
If Undying places his Tombstone well and it doesn't get picked off immediately, which of course a hero like Viper, Razor, and Nature's Prophet are actually really good at picking it off. Strong, good attacking, ranged heroes can just mow down that Tombstone very quickly in the team fight. So Undying, he really has to be cautious of where he places it. But if he does get it into a good place and a place that they're able to protect it, those little zombies can do a lot of damage.
Right,
and especially once you get on top of a tower with roster wards and the Tombstone, it's very, very hard for a team to engage on.
Yeah, and what I was going to say, if those heroes are focusing Tombstone, that's great. Tidehunter's going to blink and Ravage on you, right? And you can counter-initiate, sure, but that Tombstone, it's still there, and you have to expend the potential damage to deal with it. But yeah, the Treant Protector, I think, is kind of getting under-mentioned here. It's one of my favorite supports, and that's kind of why I feel like that. I think he's really strong. Once he hits level 7, that armor, very, very useful in fights. Basically can save your teammate, or can prevent a lot of damage coming out on them. Like, it can basically absorb a Ravage and the damage that comes out after it on a hero, but more importantly, Ancient Apparition. That could be very interesting here. Is what I was going to say is that the Leech Seed with boots early on, which is how PPD prefers to play Treant, and you've seen that a lot if you followed competitive Dota in EG, especially pre-TI4. Leech Seed plus boots plus his base damage plus one other hero equals dead heroes wherever the Treant wants to make it done. And I know it's like, oh, but it's only a slow, right? But the thing is Tree hits like a truck. And if you have an AA to maybe even give you some bonus damage with Chilling Touch, or an Ice Vortex to give you extra slow and a little bit extra damage, or that Cold Feet, it can definitely round it out. And obviously Viper, Razor, and Prophet all bring something to help finish that kill.
So, I have a question. Doesn't Death Prophet's Exorcism burn through Tree
Yes,
armor?
because each spirit is an independent tick. That is correct. But she has to be focusing it on an individual in the fight, which, as we've talked about, you can right-click focus it. So it can't get countered.
If they had the idea of picking the Tree with the Razor and the Viper in mind, I wonder why they chose to ban the Panda instead of Death Prophet. Because I would imagine Death Prophet would be a much stronger pick against their lineup and what they're trying to pick than a Panda.
My logic, or the logic that comes to mind, is twofold. Ace point is that, like, the burning from the fire Panda ticks it down anyways, like the spirits. It sucks a little slower. And B point is you can throw the person who's armored into the air and negate that use of armor. Because, what are they doing? They're spinning in the air. So, maybe, but at the same time, there's definitely a lot to worry about with the Death Prophet. But Treant armor, a lot of it, if you think about it purely from that perspective, which is one way to look at it, you come to the logic that it's up to the enemy team not to screw up and not focus the target that has the Treant armor. But a good Treant is going to use armor where that 7 instances or that little bit of HP regen is going to make a big difference. But also a good Treant protector is never going to let your chipping push do anything. Yeah. So when the Radiant wants to push, if they do not finish the tower, they might as well have not pushed. And that's where Treant really changes the outcome of a game, because 100 HP T1s aren't 100 HP 45 seconds later. They're actually more like 8 to 900 HP.
Yeah, I have to agree with that 100%. But I'm going to go completely off on a tangent and say that you have to look at the base logo that Pizza Time has. It's
Oh,
incredible.
it is, and I wish I could zoom in more for it, guys. I really wish I could. We'll go ahead and get an isolated picture over here. Maybe if I do the showcase Smite-style introductions, we can get a better view from Tidehunter's back, and yes, we can, as we do have the Spider-Man background with Destiny on top, and then, of course, what else does Peter eat? Nothing but pizza.
That's awesome.
I forgot Peter's last name, and I feel like a horrible nerd all of a sudden. What is Peter's last name in the Spider-Man comics?
Parker.
Parker, thank you.
Peter Parker.
Peter Parker eats pizza, guys. P-P-E-P. So we can start this game, and I'll go ahead and introduce our fan favorites. As we have, of course, Pizza Time on the Radiant side. For them, we have Jack. Oh, God, I hate purple names because I'm colorblind. Jack off a shirt is going to be picking up the Undying in the aggressive tri-lane. We have Point and Laugh seeming to pick up the Wraith King carry, which leaves Dockham picking up the support Shadow Shaman. Of course, in the middle lane, we have the Captain, Zoltan, to this day picking up the Death Prophet middle, and that leaves Blue Bop picking up the solo safe lane Tidehunter, as Niz gets the most exciting introduction of tonight.
I do, because we have an early Roshan going on right now. So we have the Overachievers on the Dire side. Playing the Razor is Follow the Reaper. Playing the Treant Protector is Titty Squeeze. Playing the Viper is Symbol. Playing the Nature's Prophet is Soul Fu. And playing the Ancient Apparition is Pumpkin Dota. And I knew we had a Pumpkin Dota fan in the chat, and
yes,
I think
we
we've
did.
also got Rage who's cheering for the Overachievers.
Well,
So,
guys, don't know what
it's not all
side you're
Pizza
on
Time fans.
right now, but yeah, this game is already off to an interesting start, as Pizza Time is going to be at a deficit. Can they overcome, as this Roche will fall about 10 seconds after the creep spawn? Will probably be going to the mid lane so he can play extra aggressive, and yeah, it does go to Symbol as he wants to play aggressive, and they are even gifted by the gods of Dodo as they are given their Razor a haste rune to start off their aggressive tri-lane. Now, Niz, in your opinion, tri-lanes are going aggressive, but they are dodging each other. In this situation, who would you rather be, excluding the Roche, of course? Just purely the tri-lane dodge here.
I think that's tough. I think I'd rather be the Dire side. It's hard because I don't think the Dire side can really do anything though. Like with their roaming and their supports, I don't think they have the potential of really putting a lot of pressure on the middle lane. Whereas I think the Radiant somewhat does. Like I feel like Shadow Shaman can do more, but still you have an Undying. You can't really. I don't know. It feels like both support duos are gonna have a hard time.
I think
We
you're
gotta
doubting the
actually
Boots
action
tree.
top.
Yeah, and actually they are going to dive top, which will allow them to skip this creep wave. But what I was going to say is, yeah, I really like the boot tree, the tree boot with his Leech Seed. I think actually the roaming potential from him is a little stronger than Rasta right now. But when Rasta gets a point Nether Shock or Hex, I think Rasta is definitely stronger. But Rasta doesn't have boots yet, is the
I
big
don't
problem.
feel like it synergizes at all well with the AA though. I feel like these two heroes can coexist on a team. I just don't feel like their ability to roam.
Well,
really
we're going to see it right now because they have 2
works
points in the
together.
Leech Seed, 28% movement slow, and I believe 4 decks, 15% movement slow. Of course, those do not stack additively; it is multiplicatively, so it is closer to something like a 28% slow, or sorry, a 38% slow total. But we'll see what happens here. As they are going to go for this Leech Seed. We'll follow this off the start first, or actually, but Blue Bop is going to get the kill first, and I missed that as he cleans up the Razor, but in the middle lane. The second blood will be the Death Prophet. And in the bottom lane, it looks like Razor potentially dived the
Yeah, he went all
Tidehunter.
the way past the tower.
Okay, so you saw that.
Well, I saw it on the minimap.
Okay, so I was not
watching middle and top.
Yeah, I
But
was.
Yeah, Razor died like all the way down here.
Okay, so yeah, definitely Razor diving too far. Blue Bop playing well, exploiting Razor's over-aggressive nature, and that will make the scoreboard even. But the first blood did, of course, go to the Radiant side. Of course, if we go to the Golden Experience graph right now, guys, there's no way that you would see anything but an OA advantage. Roshan is a huge early advantage, but it is overcomeable.
They've been putting so much pressure in this top lane on the Furion, being played by Soulfu. They were pushed up past the tower several times all the way there. But we have seen the supports rotate to the top.
Oh,
Pumpkin
and now
Dota into a
Pumpkin
lot of
Dota,
trouble.
yeah,
He has gotten stunned up by the Wraith King and the Shackles, and he will eventually die to
Ooh,
Jack
2-point
on the
Shackles. Interesting. Maybe that might have been a miss skill, but he does get 2 points in that. And like you were saying about the spirits canceling out the tree armor, early on, Shackles is actually a really good spell against tree armor because there's only 4 instances right now. So Shackles already cancels 2 instances just by its use. But yeah, they are putting a ton of pressure, and Selfu has not gotten any CS. You would really expect a Prophet early on, especially a laning Prophet, to get a lot of CS, but he's really not getting too much. His Razor on the other side is leading the scoreboard in both last hits and denies, though he does have that 1 death to his name. Definitely hurting him a little bit there. But overall, this game I would say is even considering the level 1 Roshan. That advantage is kind of passed by. Viper is still a level ahead, but it's not... I don't think it's super impactful anymore.
Yeah, it's very difficult for Fury to stay alive in this top lane. Like, normally you'd be able to do some pulling, maybe using your treants to pull the creep wave or pull your pole camp or something like that to try and help you get XP. And you'd be able to use Sprout to kind of protect you. But you can't because, you know, you can just drop a tombstone and just destroy trees, and you're not getting out of that anyways. So he has to play so safe and so far back, and basically use the trance to just kind of be a meat shield for him to potentially slow any kind of aggression.
Middle lane, there was about to be some action, but I think they should have maybe given that haste rune to the Treant, so he could have got the leech seed off. They do give it to the AA, who is moving back up into the top lane right now. Treant giving Vision of Point and Laugh, as he is about to be surrounded by 3 dire heroes. There is the Vortex to slow him down, 254 movement speed. Treant chooses not to throw out a leech seed, and that is actually a really good decision considering the fact that you just spent the last 2 minutes explaining how he can just drop Tombstone, and how we spent 3 minutes in the draft talking about how Tombstone is an amazing spell. Even with leech seed healing you up, you do not want to fight under that spell. Or in an Undying, against an Undying this early on in the game. Too many games have been lost for too many people against Undying trying to fight into him.
Absolutely. This Viper in the middle lane, Symbol, has been able to play incredibly aggressive on Zaltan. And he still has the Aegis up, and he's still going to have it for 30 seconds. Well, it just pops up as I say that. But he's managed to pull out ahead 24 and 13 to 14 and 5. So he's 10 CS ahead of this Death Prophet. And that is to be expected. Of course, he had over a level advantage because of the Roshan kill, but he's also able to play very aggressive with that Aegis. So he could be like pushed up really far, and he doesn't have to worry too much about any kind of rotations really threatening him, because even if he does die, he'll probably still keep his life because he'll be able to get far enough back while his skills are on cooldown from the first kill.
Yeah, and things have really slowed down since the beginning of this game. Ever since those 3 kills, the game state has definitely gone into a more relaxed state. OA will be losing. Yeah, they will lose the top tower. OA has definitely conceded this loss, and I think that's kind of fair considering the tri lane. Even though they have the Roche advantage, you're dealing with an Undying, you're dealing with a Wraith King, and you know, the support from a Shadow Shaman. Even though he doesn't have Hex yet, still a ton of damage he can throw out from that Ether Shock at a safe distance.
Well, I was actually expecting them to farm up the Wraith King and not the Undying, but we didn't really point out the fact that the Undying has been the one who is farming in this game. So it'd be interesting to see what items he's going to be picked up. I imagine
Mechanism, but there's going to be
normally build mech, but it's probably on the Death Prophet's going to get the mech.
There's going to be a huge engagement here. Yeah, we do see Razor going to move in, does get the static link. There already is the stun on a Treant Protector. The Tombstone is down, and zombies are piling up. Point and Laugh taking a lot of damage. She will be the first to fall, as Dockham is going to go down low as well. Going to be the second to fall, and third should be the Undying, as he's going to get focused down by Prophet and the Razor. 3 heroes will fall as the wraparound from OA. Very effective. Going to net them an advantage so far in this game, even though they lost that tower. Definitely getting it back there.
Yeah, you know, they were playing really aggressive on the tier 1 up here, and they were able to do so because they had this observer ward kind of scouting it out, helping them maintain that space and make sure that if anything was coming, they'd be able to see it coming. And then they pushed up to the tier 2 without having vision of any of these areas where they could have got ganked from, and it ended up with them just getting completely wrapped around on, and there was really no way they were getting out of there. They dropped the tombstone, which is going to do a lot of damage if it's not focused, but it was focused and it dropped immediately. So good job by Overachievers to respect the fact that tombstone was down, and it is only level 2 tombstone, but still, level 2 tombstone can do a lot of damage. So they did respect it, and they made sure they cleared it out before they really focused on the hero kills. But Exorcism is popped in the middle lane, and they're going to be pressuring this mid tower.
It's already dropped 400, now 500 HP. Tombstone is in the background to zone out right now, as they just want to be able to take this. But with all of the spill damage from both the Razor and the Prophet, multiple heroes on the Radiant side down to under 200 HP as they're trying to get out here. Razor and Viper trying to pick at them in the back, as they will be able to successfully defend this tower and negate the use of both Exorcism and the Tombstone. I think that was very well coordinated by both the Prophet and the Razor there.
I think they had the potential to use Ravage there and just turn around and follow the Reaper on the Razor. And he came in and his team was actually a little far away. Obviously, we have more vision of them.
They might actually just run and force this Ravage, and they will, as Follow the Reaper will get hit by it. He should be falling here. But the Leech Seed coming out from Treant Protector is enough to save him, and they also have the armor, as he will not fall here. And now 4 Radiant heroes caught out in a bad spot as they do get the Plasma Field, dealing quite a bit of damage. Follow the Reaper is not done yet, dealing quite a bit of damage, getting a double kill as he's able to clean up the Undying in the background. OA going up 7-3 here, as Pizza Time's push unfortunately not going as planned. Think Tide maybe a little forcing that Ravage there. What are your thoughts,
unfortunately, like I was saying, they had the opportunity to go on the Razor before, but then that time it just felt very, very forced. And they felt like Tide kind of stepped up and threw the Ravage, and this team wasn't ready for it. And then they went too deep, and they actually didn't even get the Razor. The Crypt Swarm from the Death Prophet was incredibly close to hitting Razor, but it didn't, and they ended up losing. I think they lost 4 heroes there and didn't even get a single kill, so that was definitely not how they planned it in their heads. But
and unfortunately,
they're going to gather and try to push again immediately.
Treant Protector, that tower was down to 100 HP after that push, and thanks to Treant Protector, it's now back up to 800 HP, and this is where Pizza Time needs to lock it down and play a little bit stronger, get that 100 extra damage on that tower to secure it. And then their pushes will be going a lot better. So we'll see how they pull this game back in their favor, as they are the ones in the back foot. 4 heroes for Overachievers have congregated into this bottom lane, hoping to take this bottom tier 1 tower. So it is dropping down to about 400 HP, and Ice Vortex will spot out Zoltan. He is surrounded by all 4 of these heroes. The tower will fall. He is going to TP away as they surrender it, and they will drop wards in the middle tower, and this will guarantee the fall of this dire middle tier 1 tower. So tower for tower trade, and you've talked about this before, Niz. The Radiant side T1 is a little bit of an important dire Roche tower, but this tower is far more important when it comes to Roche control, considering it's literally the closest tower in the game to Roche himself.
Yeah, that's definitely not a good trade to make if you're the dire side. You want to keep your tower, your mid towers, whether it's the tier 1 or the tier 2, up, and you're never really going to want to trade that for another lane. But they did. They kind of moved, and they really committed to the bottom lane, and then they just kind of, Pizza Time was just saying, we're not.
We are going to see Wraith King actually lose his ultimate under the tower. The Overgrowth is there to stall up the Death Prophet, but Death Prophet's going to be able to get the kill on the tree, and anyways, and now Nature's Prophet falls under the tower. The Tombstone will get cleaned up by Follow the Reaper. Point and Laugh wants to turn around and push this out as they do get the Ravage hitting on 3 heroes. It actually cleans up the AA in the fog, and that will mean the fall of Razor as well. And now Symbol, the last man standing for Overachievers, is Pizza Time looks to turn this game back into their favor. An ultra kill for Zoltan as he's able to get a lot of farm off of the back of that fight. Now 8-7 as they look to turn this game around and make a difference.
I was so focused on that Tombstone and them focusing it down that I didn't even see the Tide coming in. He got a huge Ravage, ended up actually killing the AA with just the Ravage damage. And Blue Bop is actually 100 gold away from his Blink Dagger already. So that's going to be huge for them to be able to blink and then Ravage.
With only 14 CS. Wow. Rough game for him.
3. I mean, there's only 2 towers down in his favor, but
Definitely those
he
assists.
was against the tri-lane.
He was, but he did get that first blood too. So I mean, he did get those early boots.
Yeah,
He's been
right.
stocking up gold, and he did die one time since then. But yeah, the 14 CS definitely doesn't line up with a 13-minute blink dagger. But that's where, when people talk about the power of participating in fights with your team and winning fights, Tidehunter gets a blink dagger off of that, and they'll definitely be looking to make big plays off of that. However, it will be another minute or so until that Ravage is accessible to them. 2 minutes for Wraith King, actually 3 minutes for Wraith King Ultimate. About, I believe there aren't any other major cooldowns that are worth noting, as Exorcism is coming up very soon. Relatively short cooldown itself, and Dire's going to attempt to get the Roshan again, and Radiant is relatively unaware of this. This ward is great, but it isn't great for Roche control, as the vision does end here. If you want to get Roche control, you need a ward here or here. Of course, here is usually most ideal. But they will not be able to be aware of this. They only can make this call by deductive logic based on the fact that no one from Overachievers is in any lane right now, except for actually middle.
Pumpkin Dota's positioning in the middle lane kind of is a little bit revealing.
Now it is.
Roche is already so low.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. They are going to be moving into it now. They're getting an inkling of a feeling, but it doesn't matter. 14 minutes, the second Roshan falls, as we will see that Aegis reclaimed in about 2012. They have 6 minutes to work with that. We'll see what they do with it, as they are actually really close to an Aghanims on Razor, and that's going to be an important timing in this game, as he will be able to absolutely eviscerate towers with that ultimate.
They did a really good job of preparing the lanes for that and then just falling back and immediately getting on Roche. So that was a really good job of them to kind of manipulate the map in their favor. One thing I want to note, we might see a little action here.
It is going to happen as the Blink Ravage hits on 3. They throw out the AA ultimate, will hit on most of the Radiant side, but they do have the Tombstone still there. It does look like, yeah, it is still alive with the wards, but the first to fall is going to be the Undying, and now the Razor falls. He hasn't used his ultimate yet. Viper will be the second one to fall, and he's going to pop that ultimate now as he looks to turn this fight around. 2 are down for pizza time as the Death Prophet falls to follow the Reaper. Make that 2 for follow the Reaper as he's able to clean up the Rasta. Right clicks as he continues to chase under the ward and the Tombstone. This might turn into a questionable decision as he does get anchor smashed. Right clicks are coming out, but the mechanism healing him up, preventing his death. Actually, it wasn't even the mechanism. It was, of course, that tree armor and the triple kill for Razors. He's able to clean up Wraith King, and now OA firing back with that Aegis. Great positioning and great potential for that fight for pizza time, but I think that Aegis is really what spelled out their doom in the fight.
Well, absolutely. The thing is that it's hard to show restraint when your Tide blinks in and gets such a huge Ravage like that. They were able to kill the Razor and get rid of that Aegis, and they actually had a moment there where they probably could have just actually pulled back and said, you know what? No, we got a good engage. We got the Aegis down. We're in a better position than we were prior to that engagement. But they pushed it a little far, and then they lost a couple heroes, and then they tried it again when Razor was kind of approaching their high ground, and then they lost 2 more heroes because of it. So just kind of trying to extend it just a little bit too far, and just not knowing when to just pull back and say, okay, we're fine with how that just went. And sometimes you even have to do that when it's not going well too. Just pull back and say, let's cut our losses. This is going to get worse and worse. But, unfortunately, it just kept spiraling out of control there for them.
Yeah,
but, it's just one team fight, and we saw how big the blink on the Tidehunter can be when it comes to setting up a good Ravage. But they also had a good response. Pumpkin Dota had a good Ice Blast. It hit, I believe, 3 heroes, and Titty Squeeze stepped up, and I think he got 4.
Lane is actually going to get initiated on, but the initiation is actually on the Radiant side as the AA Blast, cleans up the roster. That'll be the first down. Asafu is caught off by Point and Laugh, now surrounded by Radiant or Dire side heroes as he is going to go down the Aegis, slowing the entire Dire side, but there is no one there to support him. Will he be able to TP out 400, 100 as he gets out with 70 HP back to the fountain? 5 heroes still alive for OA as they want to continue to push, and if we go to the golden experience graph while you were talking, as I pulled them up, we've seen Pizza Time pull back 1 5k deficit. The question is, can they pull back a 7,500 deficit on both sides of the graph? It's up to Pizza Time to make the change in this game right now. There is no Aegis. There is a Blink
That
Ravage
was-
available, and here we go, guys. And there's a 4-man Ravage. The Ice Blast is there as well. It's going to hit on 3 heroes. The Prophet ult is there as well. The first one to fall is going to be the Treant. Looks like Symbol's dropping low as he gets shackled up by Rasta. Getting focused is going to drop down and will finally die. Follow the Reaper, trying to do his best to get as much as he can in this fight, but he's dropping down to 250 HP. Eye of the Storm actually going to clean up 3 heroes before he falls, getting a double kill off the back of that, and that means they can get this tower. Salfu getting the other 2 kills as he's actually able to clean up the Rasta in the background. 4 kills and the tower for 2 kills as Pizza Time tries to turn that around with an amazing Ravage, but just not enough follow-up. And honestly, these Ice Blasts, man, these Ice Blasts have been on point.
Yeah. Sulfu actually cleaned up that kill with a Blink Dagger on the Prophet, by the way. I don't know if that was pointed out, but he does have a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, I actually missed that on the stream. I was on the Razor's 250 HP train.
But I was actually, right before that engagement happened, I was about to point out the fact that that last fight was without Ravage. And then, of course, this fight happened with Ravage, and it was looking in Pizza Time's favor, but all of a sudden it all started falling apart as the Ice Blast came in and hit 4 people. And it's just, Ice Blast is so good.
Yeah, and Follow the Reaper
he's
is
almost
so
got
tanky.
He's almost got his eggs. He's 20 gold away from his eggs. So we're going to have even bigger Ice Blasts.
Well, yeah, now honestly he can just stay farther away from the fights because applying it to more heroes is more worth it than him being in fights once he gets that Aghanims. But something else worth noting is that, you know, if Razor hadn't picked up that Ogre Club before that middle fight at that T2, I think they would have been able to kill him. 190 HP basically would have made the difference between him living and dying. And this game is honestly on a razor thin edge here, I feel. As Pizza Time, if they could just get over that hump and wipe the Razor 5 seconds earlier, 4 seconds earlier in that fight, it goes completely differently for them. But Razor just puts out so much damage without doing anything, basically, by just pressing R and right-clicking.
The problem is that next fight, Razor's going to have his BKB, Nature's Prophet's going to have a BKB, and AA is going to have his Egg Scepter. Those are 3 big acquisitions, item acquisitions, that they didn't have last fight. And I don't think there's going to be any new items. You know, I was thinking that Death Prophet was getting close to getting her Yule Scepter, but it looks like she's actually picked up a Vitality booster, so she is going for the Bloodstone, which I think the Yules would be a lot more valuable here, especially when you're getting blown up. I don't think the Bloodstone isn't going to be as effective. I think you just need the Yules to kind of keep yourself alive. Titty Squeeze just kind of scouting them all out.
Yeah, and this is another thing I love about Tree and Protector. Of course, that Invis. However, it is going to be revealed, and now they know he's there. If they have any detection, they do have dust. They will pop it. It will slow him. 18% movement speed while he is invisible. But they choose not to pressure this as they're honestly a little scared. And, you know, in the game situation, I don't entirely blame them. The blink from Salfu will allow him to dodge that stun and dock him slightly off the mark as he checks the wrong set of trees. And it's one of those situations where what we need to see from Pizza Time is not flawless play, but they need to find mistakes and find ways to hurt OA and get back in this game right now, because they are just slightly far enough behind that these straight up fights are going to make the game worse and worse for them. That, you know, I don't know if you agree with that, but that's kind of how I feel. They need to not win this game by a straight up, you know, we're going to outplay you in the 5v5. They need to win this game by out positioning and picking apart OA right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Sulfu's been playing really aggressive on this Nature's Prophet, and he's able to do that because he has the Blink Dagger. And their only way of really jumping in and disabling that Blink Dagger is on the Tide. And of course, Tide Gush, you can always blink that. So it's really hard for them to pick him off when he does that aggressive stuff, but I think he is a potential target as he is being playing very, very aggressive. But they have smoked up, and they are going to look for a big fight. And they're actually going to.
They are going to get revealed here by the Treant. Will they react to it? And Prophet did just TP. He should have about 10 more seconds on that global. 8 seconds as they do get revealed by Pumpkin Dota as he's invis as well. And this Titty Squeeze doing a very good job with his Nature's guys here, invising his team. Yeah, he's very close to it. Literally 100 units. Now he's in the vision as Dockham is going to be chased out by him, but the entire side of Pizza Time scared out
what is
of their
Undying
gang
doing?
potential. Yeah, Undying might be caught out here as 3. Now 4 heroes are next to him as no one from his team is around him. He's going to drop the tombstone, and now they get the overgrowth. It actually hits on the Death Prophet, and an Ice Blast is going to hit on 3 as the blink forward from the Tidehunter gets a Ravage on 3. They'll be able to clean up Titty Squeeze, but Follow the Reaper did get off that Aghanims as well as, or sorry, the ultimate as well as the BKB, and he's just going to town, dropping down to 200 HP. He might actually get cleaned up as Zoltan does get the double kill, but 4 for 2 as this initiation was a little lackluster from Pizza Time. They might be able to make it 3 as the Symbol does get chased down, and Jinx, you owe me a Coke. But they don't actually make it 3, as he is able to TP away, and a buyback from Death Prophet as she wants to defend this bottom lane. However, not too much damage done from Salfu, but that buyback is definitely worth the pressure he just applied. This Wraith King is actually pretty starving for gold. I mean, sorry, not Wraith King, Death Prophet. Wraith King is obviously behind.
Wraith King support.
Yeah, he is. He is starving, of course. But
He
yeah,
just picked up his blink though.
Yeah.
He's the only one to survive there.
When I pointed that out, I had that. Oh, Raptors, you're so dumb. You just misspoke. But yeah, the Death Prophet is starving right now. She wanted to go for that Bloodstone, but now she's transitioning into a Yule's potentially, as she did pick up that Voidstone. Maybe she still does want to
she already
continue
had
that.
the Voidstone.
So
I was
she's
saying she was getting close to the Yules, and then she picked up the Vitality Booster.
well, she's just in a bad spot right now then, because she's either really far from a really big item, or she's kind of close to an item that's losing impact as the game goes on.
I mean, if she is going to Bloodstone, obviously her next item is the Point Booster. So 300 away from that, 270 away from that. But that's not going to keep her alive in these team fights.
She needs armor, more important, or not armor, sorry. She needs some sort of magical resistance, as of course they have so much magic damage coming out of the Razor, and then the physical damage that it puts out as well. But of course the Prophet ultimate and that Ice Blast, as we've said time and time again.
I definitely agree that the armor is going to help keep her alive, but I like the Yule Scepter because you could obviously use it to dodge some kind of big ultimate. You can use it to dodge the Ice Blast if you see it flying in.
It does still apply the debuff though, correct?
Does it?
I'm pretty sure it still applies the debuff no matter what. Like, the effect still hits you, but the pop damage of the actual explosion doesn't hit you, right? So you can dodge the initial magic burst, which is important, I think, still. But I don't know if you can dodge the effect in its totality.
Radiant. Look where the Radiant side is.
Yeah, no, they're so scared right now, and unfortunately, I guess, like last game, is given 100% information, do you think they should even contest this Roche? Or do you think they even should have contested? No. Okay, so they...
No, Ravage is not. Ravage just came up right now as I said that. There's no way. You have to have Ravage if you're going to fight. Especially when you're behind like this. You need something. It's not like you're... The only time you can fight without Ravage in this situation is if the other team has a bunch of big ultimates and they're all on cooldown. But they don't. And they're not on cooldown. So, you're not forcing some fight because you have some ability advantage or something like that. So you can't force it. Especially when your big ability is on cooldown.
Well, Niz, and viewers, for those of you who are fans of Pizza Time, I'm sorry, but grim tidings come for your team.
This is a Rax
OA.
push,
Yeah, OA is grouping up for the Rax push. They have the Treant in a precarious situation, or a position, if they do want to push this. He does. It looks like he's just trying to get vision, ascertain the situation. OA is taking their time to push this, but Pizza Time is on the ropes, and they need to turn something around. And yeah, actually, those wards are going to turn out to be big, and this is something I love doing as Treant. I love doing as a support in general when you're ahead. It's a little bit more icing on the cake than more useful, but, it's kind of funny to have wards in your enemy team's base.
Ward like a man. Don't use Smoker and Viz.
No, that's how you ward intelligently, Niz.
No.
Dota is a poker game plus a chess game plus
if you're
everything.
using your wards better prior in the game, you wouldn't need to smoke or use Invis to go get wards. You'd already have that map control.
Well, Niz with the big talk, as OA wants to not just talk, they want to bring the walk as they are walking up. Let's reuse words. I'm trying to sound cool. I'm just gonna give up. OA wants to push here on Rax. They are still kind of waiting it out here. Of course, they are applying the top pressure with the Prophet, and this is where it starts to get really frustrating for Pizza Time. They want to engage, but if they do, no matter which side, they're gonna lose something somewhere.
Death Prophet's listening. She picked up a Yule Scepter.
And she does have it. She does have the drums too, so here might be the fight, guys. And
It's gonna be a huge trio.
yeah, we actually see the BKB being popped by Salfu as he's running forward. He's actually just chasing down Dockham. Will Dockham be able to get out alive? The blink forward by Blue Dop is going to actually stall this out. The BKB might end before the TP. No, it doesn't. But bottom tower taking quite a bit of damage. It looks like Viper will be used in the air as he takes a Crypt Swarm and some right clicks, but Prophet's already back because he's ready to take that top tower, and it looks like Follow the Reaper is ready for this game to end as the blink forward into the overgrowth, followed by the AA Blast, going to hit on 2. Blue Drop throws on the Ravage, but he's already dead, and so is the Undying as his 3 teammates in the background are getting absolutely demolished. And I say that, and Razor's the one who falls first. 3 heroes on the sideline, now 4 for Pizza Time as the Viper loses the Aegis. 2 on the sidelines for OA, maybe 3 as Death Prophet finally falls. Make that a total of 2 as OA looks to continue this push as Prophet's taking the top T3, looks to take the top racks, and the bottom racks is being taken by his teammates. And Pizza Time is on a thread here, Nizcast, so we are looking for at the end of this game.
That was a crazy move by Soulfood, running past the racks in the top lane. He did draw a bunch of heroes up there, and he did make it out alive, which allowed his team to get the high ground advantage in the bottom, but then they gave it up, and they fell back down. But then they just re-engaged and showed, how far ahead they are in this game. They have such a huge game lead.
Yeah, AA Blast is going to fly in.
What is Soulfood doing?
I don't know, but Soulfood's just going to blink in aggressively. He wants to go for this tower. He's going to try to teleport out, and they don't have a BKB disable. Soulfood gets away. Definitely playing a little bit of the mind games here. And
it's not even that they don't have the BKB disabled. They just don't have enough damage to kill him before he TPs out.
Yeah.
Because they've got so much magical damage. Outside of that, they've got just right clicks and exorcism, right? They've got nothing that they can really deal a good amount of damage to him with.
That's definitely well put. And Niz, my friend, I'm putting you in the chair.
Oh, this question you always ask me.
I know. If you were Pizza Time, what would you be doing? You're the captain, my friend. What do they got to do? What do you got to do to get yourself back in this game down 1 racks and a T3?
I think you pause the game. You tab over to the stream. You see all the supporters in the stream, and you get a little bit of inspiration. And then you tab back into the game and realize the situation you're in. You kind of Bible thump a little bit, but I have no idea. I think maybe I don't know. If you don't have an answer, you smoke. You smoke and you just go for something.
Right.
You try some crazy play and hope that it pays off, because right now they are so far
Make
behind.
confusion. Don't let them fight in level terms, and unfortunately they might be getting that level fight.
What you could do is make sure you counter wards like this. Get a sentry down just to make sure that they don't get a good engage.
Oh, blink forward from the overgrowth. Going to land on 2 as the Ice Blast should hit both. And it does. It actually hits all 3 as Undying will be the first to fall. Zoltan is going to pop that ultimate as the Ravage hits on 3 heroes. Symbol taking quite a bit of damage will be the second to fall. Actually the third as Rasta falls before him. 2 on the sidelines for the Radiant. Make that 3. But that is only the Aegis for Wraith King. And they the Blue Bop is getting low and will fall here. Point and Laugh as well as Zoltan trying to fight out Follow the Reaper, but Follow the Reaper might just have too much tankability and too much damage as he eats the cheese and continues to pressure here. The ultimate is out of duration, but the Shaman wards have helped stall this out, and they might actually be able to hold here as they are buying back the TP out from Pumpkin Dota, trying to get out. Titty Squeeze is invis over here. They do Yule's Pumpkin Dota. Of course, the AA Blast thrown out the last second, and they might actually defend this Rex, and that's a very big step. However, they expended multiple buybacks, unfortunately, to defend that.
Only 2.
Only 2, and the buybacks were one
Wraith
was
King and Tide.
So not Death Prophet.
It's actually not that bad.
Well, what do you know? What do you know? Oh, and actually, what did he squeeze? What are you doing? As he tries to take the racks himself, does throw out the overgrowth, but with Follow the Reaper. Maybe they can do something here as he does throw out that Shiva's Guard, dealing quite a bit of damage, pops the BKB and tries to fight the entirety of Pizza Time by himself, and he'll kill 2. Will he get 3 with the Prophet support? I believe so, and that's a triple kill. They should be able to finish up this Rax here as the range Rax is taking quite a bit of damage, and unfortunately, if it wasn't GG before, it might be GG now, as that hold is kind of inert now.
I just wish SV Cheats was on so I could spawn a fountain right next to Titty Squeeze and kill him up. There's no way you should survive from making a play like that. It's ridiculous. That was so crazy. How did that possibly pan out for them?
Yeah, I know. It definitely did not pan out well, and unfortunately,
Well, it did.
well, yeah, I mean it did,
die.
but I meant I'm sorry, I'm talking on the side of Pizza Time is that they were able to catch him out, but actually maybe they'll catch him out again, and this time he is invis. However, there's no one there, and now Rasta Dockham throwing down the wards, attempting to get that kill. Will he be able to chase it out? The answer is most likely no, as the Blink Dagger is up on tree. And as sad as it is, guys, it looks like it's going to be a GG coming out of Pizza Time any moment now, as we do see Viper thrown into the air, trying to defend this up. Titty Squeeze is back with the revenge and a 3-man overgrowth. Zoltan is trying to get the ultimate off and do some damage, but falls. Pumpkin Dota and team focusing down Jack as the Ravage is there, and big as always, Blue Bop is not disappointed. But unfortunately, not enough follow-up as he will fall. Symbol might fall in the background. But with that Viper Strike and right clicks and the Nether Toxin, he might be able to just bring down Point and Laugh. Question is, can he bring him down in a second life? Dockham does get the Hex off onto him. Blink away from the Wraith King, and that's going to leave Dockham to his death as he attempts to smoke his dead corpse into the crowd. But don't try to smoke. And GG will be called as Zoltan makes the call. And GG, well played. What a game. Both teams were ahead both teams definitely had a chance throughout multiple portions of that game, but at the end we did see overachievers pull it out. Niz, what are your final thoughts before I plug and kick it to the music?
I mean, it kind of sucks because we had a lot of Pizza Time fans in the chat, but that was
So
a fun
true.
game to watch. I had some fun watching that. That was fun. A lot of crazy plays. But yeah, unfortunately Pizza Time just got a little bit far behind early on. They definitely needed Death Prophet to be a much bigger presence in the game. And I'm not blaming that on the player. I think as a team they weren't able to get Death Prophet going. And when Death Prophet gets in kind of this position in the game where it's like, okay, I'm going Bloodstone and I have to bail out of Bloodstone to get something else. I typically don't like the Bloodstone pickup anyways, but even still, she wouldn't have been able to get the Yule Scepter at an appropriate time anyways. So something had to change there. Something had to allow her to get rolling. It's a snowball hero and they need to get her going in some way. They got a Blink up quickly on Tidehunter. Their aggro tri-lane actually went really well. It just seems like that transition from early game to mid game didn't go as smoothly as it could have, and I think that's where they really struggled, and that's where overachievers started to gain their advantage, and then just from there it just snowballed in their favor.
I completely agree with all that, Niz.
I didn't even point out, overachievers actually had the start of the game roached. Like, they immediately roached, and that advantage wasn't even that apparent, besides the mid lane, with Viper kind of dominating the DP. But, like, I still think Pizza Time did well, considering they got level 1 Roshan.
Yeah, they definitely recovered from it. It was the later portions of the game that they couldn't recover from. And of course, Niz, as always, I appreciate your insight, and I'm sure everyone does too. And I'd like to echo so much thank yous for all the Pizza Time fans and OA fans that are here, guys. We'll be getting into the next game. If you enjoyed this cast, you can of course stay tuned here. We're not gone until the end of this tournament. You can follow this channel at twitch.tv/DotaRaptors, where me and Niz will cast 99.9% of the time. If you enjoyed this cast and want to watch more under your own leisure, youtube.com/DotaRaptors is where you can find all the VODs. And finally, if you enjoy tweeting or want to get tweeted at about these games, Nizcast is the one to follow, at Nizcast, and he will keep you guys updated. But until then, thank you for watching, and we will bring you guys the next game in the next 5 to 10 minutes.